Are you guys ready to get hyped up for the Xbox One X? Are you guys ready to shove some stuff in some faces? Well, I'm glad, because this video is going to help you guys do that. And as always, I'm going to link it so you guys can always check up on my work. I don't mind. In fact, I encourage it. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews. Back with another video. Thank you guys for checking it out. You know what I would love you guys to check out? Last night's Xbox Nation. I don't usually advertise these things after the fact that much, but I gotta say, last night's show was absolutely epic. Mooch was on a roll, Dealer was on a roll, everybody was on a roll. Great stuff, so please go check that out. Also, if you guys want to win an Xbox One X, you can do that. Just check out the link below. Also, I know this sounds like I'm advertising a lot of stuff. I did a Sunset Overdrive 2 vote on the official feedback form to Microsoft. Over 1,000. I figure if we get 50,000, we'll probably get them to kind of maybe do a response or something. At least show them we're serious. We're over 1,200, 1,300, something like that as of now. So I'm going to link that in the description as well. So please go vote on that. It doesn't hurt anyway, right? So anyway, this video, it's all about developer talking about the Xbox One X, and they were asked some really important question, and I thought this deserved its own video. I know it's from the same interview that I kind of did a video on already, but that was a different actual part. This one is something that I think you guys are all going to like. This was a question that the developer was asked. Do you think the Xbox One X has enough graphical horsepower to natively render the more graphically demanding games at 4K, or will rendering shortcuts like checkerboard rendering have to be used? The developer's response was, I think that all of the games that you will play today on high-end PC, that the Xbox One X can render those at 4K full frame rate. That's the amazing thing about it. So right there, you have something that most people didn't really believe that the Xbox One X could do. It keeps on proving all these people wrong. You have the PC people that just want to shove it down your throat that it's not as good as this, it's not as good as that. Well, here we go. We know that it's better than most people's PCs according to Steam's own surveys. Most people don't have a PC up to spec with the Xbox One X. We also now know that those that were whining and crying about the frame rate, a lot of games are starting to offer the option for the 60 FPS. So one less thing to complain about and cry about and whine about and moan about. Wah, frame rate. We need frame rate. I can play on my bootleg Wasabi Da GT 2010 reverse Blue Jay double Wasabi. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit at the end of the day? You know? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody does. So, graphically, they said, you mentioned it performs somewhere between a GTX 1060 and a GTX 1080. And he says, yeah, somewhere in there. Just depends on the games, obviously. And then the response up to that was, GPUs like the GTX 1060 and 1070, some of them will struggle to run the most graphically demanding games on PC at 4K. Do you chalk it up to optimizations on the Xbox One X that allow it to bridge the performance gap? And the response from the developer was, yeah, so this has always been the case. When developing a game for a console, there's just a lot more that is possible in terms of maxing out memory bandwidth and utilizing the architecture of the system to the full advantage for the game's performance that you can't necessarily get when you're running in a more managed environment like an operating system on a PC. That gap is not as wide as it used to be. I think that consoles several years ago were running straight on the metal. There was barely even an operating system at all. These days, there's a little bit more of a layer between the game and the hardware, but still, the ability for an application or a game to give access to raw power, the hardware on the console, is still beyond that what's possible on non-console platforms. Basically saying it's easier to optimize on console than PC. The gap is narrowing a bit for developers like us when we have the ability to specifically target that fixed platform, and we can make optimizations because we know exactly what the architecture is on the Xbox. So what he's basically saying, if you don't understand, is even though these GTX 1060s and 1070s might struggle doing 4K on a PC, the Xbox One X isn't having those struggles because they're closer to the metal in terms of what they develop from, and there's not all that kind of operating system that a lot of the PCs hang up on. So that's why you're getting better performance out of the Xbox One X than you would from a PC running those. So very important stuff, very cool stuff. I will, of course, as always, link this in the description so you guys can check it out. Great news. If everybody out there was like, the Xbox One X will never run games in 4K, it can't do it, it can't, and here it is, it can. Rack that up. Thanks for watching. Crapgamer out.